Okay, so a few things have changed in the past couple of weeks, and one of those things was the iOS 13.4.5 betas. We were expecting quite a minor update in iOS 13.4.5, but then in the middle of beta testing, we saw Apple switch to iOS 13.5. So in today's video, we'll talk about the reasoning behind that change and everything you can expect from iOS 13.5. Now, before we get started, if you were looking forward to iOS 14 betas, definitely check out channel memberships via the join button down below or via the video description links. There are perks in those categories that will give you access to stuff like exclusive wallpapers, developer beta profiles that will consistently be updated before taken down, and you'll have more in-depth content regarding those betas as well. So check out all of that down below. Now let's get back in today's video. Okay, so we've only seen a 0.5 version of iOS once in the past, and I believe that was with iOS 11.5. So obviously this isn't something that Apple is doing quite often, but I can explain why that change was made specifically this year. The reasoning behind iOS 13.4.5 switching to iOS 13.5 is actually quite simple. You might have heard of the Apple and Google tracing program that they want to implement into users' devices to achieve the tracking of the name that shall not be named in this video. Anyways, well, this new feature needed to have an API change to the way iOS and Android is built. At least on the Apple side of things, any update that requires an updated API or a different working API, that will require a major version change, hence switching to iOS 13.5 from iOS 13.4.5. So even if we were running iOS 13.5 and Apple needs to update the API again, we still have to switch to iOS 13.6, even if that version has never been done before. That's just Apple's rules and how they work. So as far as the name change goes, it's not really prompting Apple to release the big name new features that you'd expect from a major version release because they are so focused on this tracing program and as well iOS 14. Despite those facts, they still have managed to sprinkle in a few new features here that you guys might like. There's a new feature like FaceTime speaking, where the person on the group call who is speaking will have the largest tile. That makes total sense. You also have the Face ID face mask recognition. So if you're wearing a mask, you can switch to a numbered passcode without having to wait for your phone to constantly scan your face several times, only to not unlock your phone because it can't see your whole face, so that's very useful. We obviously saw the tracing program notification menu added to the privacy section, and then in the past few weeks, we've also seen updates to AirPods and AirPods Pro firmware as well. Now, the AirPods Pro firmware isn't relating to iOS 13.5, but it is still a super important update as it clears up a lot of bugs that were plaguing AirPods devices, and they should make the listening and actual use experiences a lot better for you guys. So definitely check out my video on that update via the link down below. Now, when are we going to see these new features that I just mentioned and the tracing program as well? Well, Apple is trying to get iOS 13.5 to the public by mid-May. That was their deadline. There are some states, at least in the US, that are trying to return things back to normal, and they will likely be relying on systems like the Apple and Google tracing program to monitor the situation and ensure the mass majority of people are safe. So with that said, do expect an update sometime next week from May 18th to May 21st, depending on when Apple settles upon the final build that can be released. After that release of iOS 13.5, Apple will be full steam ahead to prep for iOS 14, which will have like the first beta, I think, on June 22nd, which is the first day of WWDC 2020. So that's about a month away, and they really need to get on that to ensure that beta experience is as bug-free as possible, not like years in the past. Now, very quickly, as I said before, check out channel memberships that are now live for more iOS 14 content there, and we'll be updating those perks regularly as WWDC 2020 approaches. Anyways, guys, that was today's video. I hope that answered all of your questions on iOS 13.5 and the future of releases here as we approach WWDC. If you have any questions, please leave those in the comment section down below, and of course, I'll get back to you as soon as possible. If you liked today's video, definitely get subscribed, hit that bell button to get updates on when any future content is released, and also leave a like on today's video. It helps the channel quite a bit. Okay, so with all that said, I hope to see you in some upcoming content, but until then, I hope you all have an awesome day.